We're going to do some textbook problems. And then we're going to continue in the chapter 3 handout. And we're going to do the taxes. See how taxes affect the break even. Okay. So the problem we're going to be doing in the book is 331. Let me see if I can get a page number for you. I don't know if it's the weather or what. The internet here is really slow. So if I break up a little bit, it's not my fault. Okay, the first one we're going to do is which is textbook problems. It looks like it's on page 98. And I'm going to have a version of it. So let me see if I can. Zoom does not let me have two It doesn't let me have two screenshots at the same time, so I'll have to do the cam. That didn't help. So this is 331. And then I'm going to pull up. I sent you guys a an answer sheet. You can use it. You don't have to use it. But let me pull that up. Okay. And the answer sheet. Is not what I just pulled up. One second. All right, I think I got it. All right, so this is the answer sheet I sent out. Again, you don't need to use this if you don't. You can, if you want to use something else, that's absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is use this problem, and I think you guys should be able to do a side by side. At least I can't do it from I'm because I'm the host. I can't do it, but I think if you're not the host, you can do a side by side screen and pull this one up. If not, we'll be flipping back and forth, or if you already have it in your ebook or a regular book, that's fine too. Okay. So the first one we're going to be doing is problem 331. And this is the A problems. And I'm going to go over to my other sheet here. Stop sharing. Okay, so by the way, this problem really kind of drives home what we did in the first 4 pages of the handout from last week. Okay, so this is a rug company. They make rugs. And they're going to sell these rugs for $250 per unit. And we have 3 different countries to make the rugs. Make them in Portugal, Italy, or Thailand. And you'll notice that the selling price for each of these is the same. So whatever, it doesn't really matter what country we make them in, the selling price is going to be the same. It's the other things that are going to change. All right, so the annual fixed cost is that for Portugal. The variable cost for Portugal is, we can leave these separate. I'm going to combine them. Uh, 45 plus 10. Oops, you guys can't see that. I'm going to do the same thing for these other countries too. So Italy, they have fixed costs of 5 million. Notice that the fixed costs are different between the countries. $65 plus 15, 80. And 55 plus 20 is 75. Okay, so all I did is take the 2 variable costs and have them. These are both variable costs. You could leave them separate, but it just makes it a more difficult problem to solve for. Okay, so what we're going to do, initially we're going to do it for A, it says compute the break even for in each country, in units and in, okay, so we're going to do the break even for Portugal. We're going to do the break even for Italy. We're going to do the break even for Thailand. And they're going to be different because they have different fixed costs and different variable costs. Marker. We'll do the fixed cost. Okay, so you know these are all the same, but the fixed costs change and the variable costs change. So our break even is going to change. Okay, let's go back to any questions on this. Is there anyone that does not have the handout? It is also
through the email.
It's through the email. You can also get it in Blackboard under. Let me make sure I have it listed. In course files under Blackboard, it's near the bottom. Second one from the bottom is the second one from the bottom is the Word one, and then there's a PDF file too. But yeah, I sent it in an email. I'm going to start sending them out. I'm going to start sending out the files early, I think, because I think some of you guys, if you're, you get them a day ahead of time, you can print it if you want, or whatever. And we won't work on them until that day, so it's not like I'm not telling you to do it ahead of time. But I think it'd be maybe easier for people if they had it ahead of time. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do here, take the information from this, this sheet over here. Okay, so we're going to see the break even for first country up is Portugal. All right, and let me say sales. Oops. Hold on a second. Oops, let me move that down here. Now, the book uses the term operating income. That's a little bit of a misnomer. Okay, so we're going to have our sales minus our variable cost minus our fixed cost equals our income. All right, and we don't know the units for the break even, so I'm going to say X equals units. Okay, so first one, the selling price is same as it is for all the rest of them, 250. And say X. Minus the variable cost for Portugal was 55.
Yeah.
And the fixed cost is negative or minus, I should say. And at break even, what income do we have? A little bit of a trick question, but what's the income at break even?
Isn't it 0?
Yep. So now we're going to solve this for X. Let's see, insert. Okay, so 250x minus 55x is, what is it, 195? Hey, where's my calculator? Oh, there it is. I was thinking of being disorganized, so I organized my desk, and now I cannot find a thing. All right, so 250 minus 55, yeah, 195. Okay, so this is 195x. And again, we want to get all of you know, we want to get the X on one side and all of the numbers on the other side. So I'm going to add $7,500,000, you said? Okay. And I'm just gonna get these closer together. Okay, so we have 195 X equals 7,500,000. So we're gonna divide each side by what? Give me a choice. Do I agree?
195.
Yeah. Well, give me a choice. There you go. Yeah, so we're gonna divide by 195. And so we'll end up with X equals whatever that is. So 38,462. And I'm going to stop for just a second here. Generally speaking, you always round up, even if it's, even if you come up with, 0.1 or something, you round up because theoretically you won't break even until you get to that. In this class, I don't really care one way or another. Usually, you're talking about 38,000, the difference between 1 unit and 2 units is not going to make a difference. But, theoretically anyways, they would have, you should round up. So, again, this is kind of a technicality. And the only time that wouldn't happen is, you can't sell 0.3 of a rug. So you're going to round these off. There are some things you can sell 0.3 of. You can sell 0.3 of, I don't know, a ton of sand or something. But, for this one, things that are whole units, you generally are going to round them up. Okay. So this would be the units. I should probably put it over here. And I'll put it here. So this would be, this would be the units. And in dollars, we would have, I'm not doing this very well. I don't, this is gonna be funny. Okay, I'll do it. So 38,462. I thought I had this all planned out. Times each one is selling for 250. That's the selling price. Whatever that is. 9 million. And I am going to try to okay, so I know this looks like a mess. So these are the sales in units, 38,462. And for the dollar sales, we say, okay, this is how many units we sold. This is the selling price per unit. So you just multiply them, and this would be the dollar sales. Any question on that one? Okay, so we need to sell 38,462. So that's if we make them in Portugal. Let's go to the next one. The next country we have is Italy. You can just copy all this, by the way, if you want. I should probably do that. But this is, you just want to copy these up here. You can just highlight the area you want to copy. Right click. Copy. So if you just want to copy this area, you say right click. So highlight the area you want to copy. Trying to right click, copy, and then come down here and paste. Okay, let's go to Italy. Italy, the sales were exactly the same. The variable costs were not the same. The variable costs were $80. Oops. Fixed cost for Italy was 5 million. And like the other one, break even at 0. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do the same basic idea we did up there. We're gonna do it for Italy. And if they have anything different in their cost structure, which they do, their variable costs are more, their fixed costs are less. So we'll see what this comes out to when we do the break even here. Okay. Okay, did something wrong. There we go. Okay, 250 minus 80. We want to get all the dollars on one side. So we're going to add 5 million to each side. Okay, so we'll get this. The 170x equals 5 million. And I'm just going to get those closer together. I just move them closer together. There's nothing different about them. You have to do this? No, of course not. But if you want to, you can. Okay, divide both sides. Well, we want the x to be alone, and then whatever is over on this other side. So 170. And over here, 170. So 5 million divided by 170 equals 29,412. So that would be the break even in units. Oops. Oops. Our sales in dollars, we're going to take the 29,401. Oops. 2. And each one of those is selling for $250. So that will be the break even in dollar sales would be 7 million. Okay, so the break even is going to be a little lower for Italy. And we're going to do the same thing for Thailand. Starts out the same. Variable cost is 75x. Getting off the sheet here. Fixed cost is 9 million. Now, right away, you can see a problem here with, oh, this is for Thailand. For Thailand, and that is the fixed costs are more than even the dollar sales for Italy. We'll see where it ends up. Okay, 250. 75. 75. Okay, so we have 175 equals 9 million. Divide both sides by 175. $51,429. So this is what the unit sales would have to be. And the dollar sale would be 51. $12,857,250. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Yep, I think that's it. Oh, I put what this is here. Okay. It's not letting me copy. Something funny here. Okay, now let's do it professionally. Sometimes just, you know. Okay, so 51,429 units. We're selling each of those for 250, and so this would be the dollar sales. So kind of looking at all of them, you know, if you're looking at the break even, which one is the safest to go with? The lowest break even is Italy. So you only have to sell 29,412 before you start making money. Portugal's next, and Thailand would be after that. Any question on that?
Just to reiterate, you said that Italy is the best way to go is because it takes the less amount of units
Yes, yes,
in order to break even, right?
exactly. So for instance, if you sold 30,000 of these rugs, in Italy, you'd make money. Right? Because you sold more than the break even, so you'd make money. If you bought these from Portugal or from Thailand, you'd be losing money because it's not up to their break even. It's going to take 38,000 to get to the break even in Portugal, and 51,000 to get to the break even in Thailand. So, you know, if you only sold 30,000 rugs, Italy would definitely be the best one to go. You'd actually be profitable, whereas these other ones you'd lose money because you're not even to the break even point. This is kind of, you know, the managerial accounting is kind of about making decisions, you know, and this is one of those. Which one would you go with? Well, Italy would certainly be the safest bet to go with, because even if you know, if you only sold 30,000, you would still be profitable. Whereas the other ones will take more in sales to do it. You can't read that. Let's try have a. We'll say, but here, best break even. Say what, Italy, we'll give you an underline instead of a highlight. Easier for me to do. Okay. Well, let's go down to, this is still going to be problem 331. We're going to part B, and stop sharing for a second. Let me be selfish and stop sharing for a second. Okay. So part B says, if Braided Rugs Inc. plans to produce and sell 80,000 rugs in 2017, what is the budget operating income for each of the 3 manufacturing locations? Okay, so if they sell $80,000 in rug, first of all, if any of these countries were picked, would we be profitable, or is there a country that would be unprofitable if we sold 80,000 rugs? Would any of these countries lose money if we sold 80,000? Think about the break even.
No.
No, yeah, they don't make money. You know, 80,000 is more than 51,000, 29,000, 30. So if they're selling 80,000, then these are all going to make money. The question is, how much money are they going to make in each one? So that's what we're going to do next, is do the income statements for each of these if they sold $80,000. So this would be, the first one's what, Portugal? Okay. So remember sales minus our variable cost. This is like pages 1 and 2 in the handout. Oops. They call it the operating income. I guess I could call it that too, but there actually is something in financial accounting called operating income. It's the income after operating expenses. This is not the same income. Okay, so let's see. For sales, we have
Question.
Yeah.
So you said that this operating income is not the same as like the operating profits?
It's not,
Did you
it's
say that?
not the same as the operating income that you'd normally see in a financial income statement. You know, they're using the term in a managerial context rather than a financial statement one. So there's, let me see if I have something here.
So this is for only like internal users?
Yeah, let me see something. Going back in the time to a simpler time. They have a I'll find one. Yeah, I'll find an income statement that'll have it on there. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So this is what a multi-step income statement would look like for financial accounting. And you guys are kind of familiar with this: sales, cost of goods sold. Underneath operating expenses, there's an operating income that is, you know, shown under operating expenses before other revenues and before taxes. This is not the same income. Okay, so you know this is not going to be the same because we're doing this in a variable context, variable and fixed costs, and that these costs will, you know, very likely not be the same. So while this operating income is something you'll see on a financial income statement, it's different than the operating income they're talking about in the book because it's going to be based on variable and fixed costs rather than specifically what the expenses and costs were. You know, it's going to be based on cost behaviors rather than specific costs. And you guys probably did that in your first accounting class where you had operating income, but in this class, the operating income is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so unit sales, I said was 80,000. Oops, let me do a little bit here. And each one of those sells for 250. So whatever that is. should move this up a little. Let's say selling price. Okay, so 80,000 times 250. $20 million. All right, so there is the there are the sales. Variable cost would be 80,000 times the variable cost for Portugal, which is too high to see. It's 55. We had to do a lowercase x because it's not a variable. Yeah. Okay, so 80,000. So that'll be the variable cost. Fixed cost for Portugal was 7,500,000. So the negative cost going out. Okay, so this would be the operating income. So 20 million minus 4,400,000 minus 7,500,000, whatever that comes out to. $8,100,000. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for the second one was what, Italy? By the way, some of you guys have, I'm sure, picked up on that. You can actually do these probably quicker in Excel if you know how to use Excel, and feel free to do that. If you're familiar with using Excel and you want to do these problems in Excel, that's fine with me. I do it in Word just because it's easier for the paging and all that kind of stuff. But you can do it anywhere, and however you want to do it is fine with me. Okay. So let's go to Italy. We have wait a minute. So we have 8,000 units, selling price is exactly the same. Total sales will be exactly the same. Variable cost will be 80,000 units times. I did the big X. Now it should be little X. Oh, it automatically stop automatically calculating. Okay, so it's what for $80? Oops. Sorry, kind of fumbling around here. 80,000. $6,400,000. So that's the variable cost. Fixed costs are 5 million. And that should be a negative. Costs are going out. Okay. All right, so that would be our income. That whatever that is. $8,600,000. Okay, so 8,100,000 would be the income. So you see these two are kind of close now. You know, once you get over, and part of the reason why they're close is that this has this variable cost is lower. So once you get up into a certain area, this one's probably going to be the better one to go with. You know, it's $25 a unit cheaper. So if you get into 100,000, whatever it is, you can figure out how to. I mean, you could actually calculate what it would take to get both those sides to equal. But yeah, so this is you know, it kind of shows that you know at some point this one would probably be the better deal, depending on how many you sell. Now it's not better at 80,000. At 80,000, it's still Italy. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy that first thing down here. And this one would be income statement. You have sales for Thailand. Okay. Stop. Fixed cost for Thailand was 9 million. And this one you can almost do in your head. This is what, 5 million? Very yeah. So this will be 5 million. Okay. So this one, even though it's not as profitable, it's still profitable because it's past that break-even point. Any question on that thing? Okay. Yeah. So that's probably on the exams. More people miss the net income than the break-even. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that everyone gets it all right. But more people miss the net income. And I think it's because it's not studied as much. But anyway, the break-even people usually get, and the net income sometimes is what people miss. Remember that variable costs and fixed costs both get subtracted. All right, let's go ahead and take a break and maybe come back in, what is it, 7:02? Come back at, say, 7:10. We'll come back at 7:10.
Okay, good, because I gotta walk my dog. I'll be
I hope you bring a shovel with you, because I don't know if it's
yeah, right. I just gotta let him out in the backyard.
Yeah, no. Okay, so yeah, come back at 7:10, and we'll continue with the handout. So if you want to pull up the handout, we'll continue with that when we come back. Okay. last class. Oops. Okay, I think we ended here. So, let's see here. So, what we're going to talk about next is cost volume profit with taxes. Now, we have a tax rate here, and we have, oops, and we have to do that. And generally speaking, you want to know what the income is after taxes, right? So after tax income is really what you're looking for. And the problem is that there's nothing in our nothing in our equation here for taxes. Oops. Right. So what we have to do is figure out how we are going to accommodate the taxes in the equation. And what it focuses on is the income. There's different ways of doing this, but the one that I'm going to show you guys, it focuses on the income, and it basically adjusts the income to before taxes, which is what this is. This is before tax income. So we're going to take after tax and then adjust it to become before tax income. Now, let's do something easy before we do that. If you think about it, at zero income, how much in taxes would you have to pay if you had income of zero?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. Zero times anything is going to be nothing. So taxes are not going to affect your break even. So you can just do your break even just like we always did. So this will be I can't remember how I did it. I'm going to copy from up here. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat because I don't want to goof it up. See, my heart's in the right place. Even though I'm incompetent, my heart's in the right place. All right, so this is, so your break even would be exactly the same as you did before. So this would just be, what is it? Selling price of this was 100. Variable cost was 60. Okay. And at break even, our income is 0. So this is exactly like we did before. Okay, so 100 minus 60 is 40x. Minus 300, we're going to do a plus 300,000. they're exactly the same as we did before. Divide both sides by 40. I should know that. Use my calculator here. 7,500? I don't know. Use my calculator. Yeah, 7,500. Okay, so 7,500 units. Remember how I did this. All right, so unit sales will be 7,500. And if we wanted the break-even sales in dollars, we would have to multiply that by 100. Okay, so our break even would be, and this is exactly the same we did before. Then reason being, again, that if you're making zero income, you're not going to pay any taxes. So taxes aren't going to have any impact on it. Okay, now here we have our target after tax income is 150,000, and we have to convert it into before tax income. All right, so here is the formula. You divide it by 1 minus the tax rate. And that will get you the before taxes. So you always divide after tax by 1 minus the tax rate, and that get you the before taxes, and that's what you're going to plug into your equation, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so let's go up here. So the tax rate is 25%. I'm going to put that into a decimal. It's easier to work with. Not easier to highlight, but easier to work with. So the tax rate is 0.25. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so 1 minus 0.25 equals 0.75. So 1 minus 0.25, which is the tax rate. So 150,000 divided by 0.75 equals some number. $200,000. And this is the before tax. And that we can plug into our equation. Let me copy this down here. So this is how this is going to look. Instead of 0, we're going to have the 200,000. So you're going to take whatever the after-tax income is and divide it by 1 minus the tax rate. And this income is really before tax. This is really the before tax income. Yeah, I'm not going to put that in. Make it more confusing. But you're going to put the before tax income in. And by the way, you know, if you're thinking about this break-even point up here, you know, if your target income is 0, 0 divided by 0.75 is going to be 0. So it isn't that this doesn't apply up here, there's no reason to do it. 0 divided by 0.75 is going to be 0. Okay, so at this point, we have to solve for the income of 200,000. And I'm going to, I don't know why I left all this space up here. I'd like to go back in time and ask myself, what were you thinking? Oops, too far. Okay, so let me that and same thing here. Okay. I shouldn't have underlined that. We have to take that out. Okay, so we get 40x equals 500,000. And again, that is just I'm just getting these two closer together. You know, it's the same. This is the same line. This is the same line as that, right? It's just closer together. Oops, oops, oops. Let's try that again. So 12,500 units. Is our break even? And I think I'm going to multiply it down here just because I got my lines up here. So the selling price is $100. 100. And I don't have enough room. Okay, so that'd be our dollar sales. So that would, this would be the units. You know what? Let me show you guys in Excel kind of what this all means and how it kind of how we got it. So our target income is $150,000 after tax, and we had to figure out the before tax to fit it into our equation. Let me. Let me kind of show you what's going on with it. Okay. And it's with variable cost. Okay, so our equation, twelve thousand five hundred units. Okay. Okay, so our equation looks like this. We had 1,250 units. The selling price was $100. And so we had sales of, and we already have that. That was the dollar sales. So this is a break even in units. This is a break even in dollar sales. Variable cost. Yeah, cost per unit. Fixed costs are something I've forgotten. 300,000. So this is our income before taxes. That's that 200,000 that we had figured out before. And these are the only ones that are in our equation that we're doing. The taxes would be, the government says, okay, you made $200,000. We want 25. Oops. We want 25% of it. And so this is that after-tax income. This is what we're actually desired. So, this is what we wanted, but we had to plug this in because this is the only part that's in our equation, is up here. This is in our equation, whereas down here, this is not. So to get this into there, we had to divide by 1 minus the tax rate. If you think about it, it's basically saying the government's taking 25%, so we get 75%. So that's what they're basically saying when they go, 200,000 times 75% is 150,000. So to get back to it, 150,000 divided by 75% will get us back to that. But anyway, that's kind of the, okay. Same thing here. Let's go to page 6. And you can't see what I see. Now you can. Okay. So same thing here. And again, break even is not going to change. There's nothing wrong with that. If you were to if you were to apply this equation, it still holds up. It just 0 divided by anything would be 0. Oops, okay. So this will be the setup for your the break even, and again, it's just that's going to be the same. You know, the question is, do you have to do this? No, you don't have to do that. But you can. I mean, it's, you know, free country, but. Okay. Okay, I just got these were these are the same line. 5x equals 900,000. I just got these closer together to do the division. Do you have to do that? No, you do not. $180,000. No, 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 no. 180,000 is it right? Times 2,700,000. Okay, so these are the units. And these would be the dollar sales. Okay, target income. So down here, so we have 1 minus, and the tax rate is 40%. Which I'm going to turn into 0.40 just to make it easier to work with. Yeah. So over 1,000 divided by 0.6. And that will leave our before tax income. So this is before tax. So this is what you're going to plug into your for your income. So they're going to be the same here, except for this would be the 400,000. Okay, so this is what it would take for us to have an after-tax income of 240,000, or another way to say it would be to have the same I said that wrong. To have an after-tax income of 240,000, or to have a before-tax income of 400,000. And the reason the 400,000 is it fits in this equation. Okay, so this would be copy. Question on that thing? And, something happens funny here. And this is kind of what we're looking at for this one. You know, we had to get this 400,000 to plug into our equation to figure out how many units we had. But this is what happens. So our before tax income, we gotta get 400,000. We know the government's gonna take 40% of it. So to have an after tax income of 240,000, we gotta make a before tax income of 400. So that's what we're kind of doing. And basically, it's exactly the same as we did before. The only thing that's different is this. You know, this 1 minus the, I'm not showing you anything, I'm sorry. Let's try that again. The only thing that's different is this 1 minus the tax rate. And if they don't give you a tax rate, 1 minus 0 is, you know, 240,000 divided by 1 would be 240,000. So if they give you a tax rate, you know, to find the before taxes, you divide it. Question on that thing? Okay, well, that's probably enough fun for tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a, hold on to this handout. Next week, we're going to do 7 and 8. And I'm going to go ahead and put a put an assignment in for the problem we did together, 3-31. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to put a assignment in for this one. And if we do problem next week, I'll put it in for that one too. So you can turn that one in. Next week we will be doing the finishing the handout, doing a practice exam. Might do a problem, but and then I'll give you the exam next week for chapter 3.